Hello, it's Judi Vitale from readthestars.com, and in case you didn't notice, Mercury is still retrograde. I just had an experience here where I started this video and now I have to start it over because the batteries died on me. What's happening in your life? Write me, tell me. Okay, so up on the site yesterday we had an article about Barack Obama and his announcement that he's going to run for president again in 2012. No surprises there, that's for sure, but I was surprised to see that the announcement was made during Mercury retrograde, period, plus a couple of other things that really made me feel that this was not the best indication that he might have any kind of help from an astrologer, because I can't imagine an astrologer who would choose that chart for him. Nonetheless, the announcement is made, and it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out over the next year and a half. So I don't know if he's going to win or lose. I haven't seen his opponent yet, so we don't know who that is. I do feel that the campaign is going to be a bit more difficult than he would like it to be. That's really what I think, you know, when you make an announcement during a Mercury retrograde, that's what happens to you. I once started a company, and by the time the lawyer got all the paperwork in, Mercury was retrograde. It was set up for an entirely different purpose than what it wound up being in the end, and that's the kind of thing that can happen. It's like you have all your hopes and you're like trying to get something out there, and then you do it during the retrograde, and the retrograde goes, let me think about this, and it gets refashioned, and out it comes as something different. So I would not advise anyone here, if you have the choice to make an announcement, start a company, do anything that's a really fresh beginning until after April 23rd, 2011. Okay? Now, next. The next article I have up is about Neptune going into Pisces, as it did earlier this week. And we've already had an article, I know, about history and all that kind of stuff, but I think it's much more interesting to really talk about what it's like to have Neptune in your life. So I began the article telling you about a time in my life when Neptune was very active in my chart and what it's doing in my chart right now. And a lot of it, Neptune has to do with career, and because of where it's going through in the sector of my chart that it's going through right now. So you can read the article and find out a little bit more about me and my history, but it's less about that and more about you. I want you to understand how Neptune can affect your life, and to really pay attention to this time in your history to figure out where it is that you've been and where it is that you're going. So they're little like horoscopes there for you to kind of figure that out, you know, to understand like where Neptune has taken you the last several years and where you're going to be going in the next several years. Neptune can be a very disturbing influence when it first changes signs and starts to make different kinds of connections with you. So you might notice water around your house a lot. Okay, it happens. I know when I started to have these major Neptune transits, I was on the phone with my teacher and she said, you might notice water around your house more, Judy. And I went, yeah, right, okay. You know, I was always very skeptical about these things. And then as I was on the phone telling my friend back from where I grew up about, you know, this, I moved out to the West Coast for the time being, and I was talking to her about it. She said, oh, well, she said that I could find water, and I looked down at my feet, and there were water at my feet, because I was putting an artichoke down a garbage disposal, which you don't do, because then it kind of like backs up and all the water goes all over the place. So it's the kind of thing that happens. You get leaky faucets, you get leaks in the basement. Neptune just brings water into your life more. So the little solution that you can do to work with it, take more baths. Go in, like we were talking about the moon in Pisces, you know, just like get the water around you. Go for a little trip to the ocean. Enjoy the feeling of being lost in the water, because that's what Neptune is about. It's about giving yourself over to the deepest consciousness there is while we're on this planet. So go ahead, have a read of the article. You have questions, comments, please send them to me at Judi, Judi, readthestars.com.